I used to think the worst thing that could happen to a man was losing his job. Turns out, losing your job is manageable. You can recover from that. What really knocks you flat is finding out the person you built a life with has been quietly dismantling it behind your back, one transaction at a time. My name's Daniel. I'm 39, live in Colorado, and until last year I was a senior accountant for a mid-sized construction company. I did everything by the book. Paid taxes early. Balanced spreadsheets for fun. The kind of guy who reads his credit card statements line by line because you never know. I married Lauren when we were 27. She was spontaneous, impulsive in ways that made up for my cautious nature. Where I made lists, she made decisions. Where I counted, she jumped. It worked for a long time. Opposites, attraction, all that. We built a simple life. Small house on a quiet street, 2 used cars, joint checking account, a savings fund we called Someday for vacations and college and whatever came next. We didn't have kids yet, but we talked about it. Or at least I did. Lately, those conversations had started ending with her saying, "Let's not rush it," while scrolling through her phone. Looking back, the red flags weren't waving. They were practically lighting themselves on fire. I just didn't want to see them. It started with little things. A new bag here. A flash sale purchase there. Packages showing up on the porch with her name on them. Each one followed by a breezy, "It was on clearance. Don't worry." I worried. Our rule had always been simple. Talk about any purchase over $100. Not because I was controlling, but because we'd both agreed it made sense when we were trying to build something. The first time I saw a $350 charge from a boutique I'd never heard of, I assumed she'd forgotten to mention it. "Hey," I said that night, holding the statement. "What's Lumiere Studio?" She barely glanced up from her glass of wine. "Oh, that place? Just a dress for a work event. I meant to tell you. My bad." She kissed my cheek, laughed it off, and I let it slide. Everyone slips now and then, right? Then it was plane tickets. Then hotel reservations. Then cash advances. The thing about being an accountant is numbers talk to you. They tell stories. The numbers on our bank statements were starting to whisper something ugly. One Thursday, I logged into our main checking to pay the mortgage and felt my body go cold. Available balance, $84.12. I blinked, refreshed the page. Same number. Our savings, the account we'd spent nearly a decade building, the one I moved money into faithfully every month, down from 5 figures to 4, then 3. A cluster of withdrawals over the last 6 weeks. In person. ATM. Transfers. Every single one authorized by the person whose name was on the account with mine. Lauren. I scrolled through the history, heart pounding. Airline tickets purchased with our joint card. Charges at jewelry stores. High-end restaurants in a town 2 hours away. A wire labeled consulting fee to an account I didn't recognize. My first thought was, this has to be identity theft. My second thought was, if it is, the thief somehow knows Lauren's PIN and password. I called the bank. They confirmed everything had been done with our card, our login, our authorizations. No foreign IP addresses. No fraud alerts. The person draining our accounts wasn't some hacker overseas. She lived in my house. I shut my laptop and sat at the kitchen table staring at the wall clock while it ticked. Every second felt like another little piece of denial falling off. I wanted there to be a reasonable explanation. Medical emergency. Family crisis. Surprise investment in a business I didn't know about. Deep down, though, something heavier sat in my chest. There was another possibility. One I didn't want to touch. The front door opened an hour later. Lauren came in humming a shopping bag, looped over her arm. She smelled like expensive perfume, the kind that comes in a bottle shaped like sculpture. She kissed the air near my cheek but didn't bother to land it. "You're home early," she said, tossing her keys into the bowl. "Everything okay?" I watched her set the bag on the counter like we weren't hanging by a financial thread. "Had some work I needed to do from home." "Oh," she said, already half turning away. "I'm meeting a friend for drinks later, so I'll probably just grab something on the way." "Lauren," I said. Something in my tone made her pause. "Yeah?" she asked cautiously. How much money is in our checking account? I asked. Her brow creased. What? I don't know. You're the numbers guy. Take a guess, I said. She rolled her eyes. Dan, I don't know. 2003? Why? $84, I said. Her smile faltered. What? We had almost 4,000 at the start of the month, I said. Now we have 84. Our savings, the one we built up for years, that's almost gone too. Her face went pale. For the first time in a long time, she didn't have a quick answer. Dan? Before you say anything, I cut in. Remember what I do for a living. I've seen every line, every withdrawal, every wire. She sank into a chair, eyes darting, fingers twisting the hem of her shirt. It's not what you think. That line's getting a lot of use in this marriage, I said quietly. So tell me, what do I think? She stayed silent. I continued. Plane tickets, hotels, restaurants, jewelry, cash withdrawals every few days. A wire to someone named M. Torres. Her eyes flickered at the last name. That was all I needed. Who is he? I asked. She swallowed hard. Just someone from work. Someone worth emptying our accounts over? My voice stayed calm, but it felt like it belonged to a different person. I heard it from a distance. Her eyes swam. You don't understand. You're never home. You're always working. I felt invisible. And then Miguel. Miguel, I repeated. The man you gave our savings to. I didn't give him our savings, she protested weakly. We're going to invest in a business together. Get ahead. Start fresh. Start fresh, I echoed, the words tasting like ash. With him. She looked away. There it was. Not screamed. Not confessed in some dramatic outburst. Just quietly confirmed in the space between two sentences. She had picked a future, and it didn't involve me. You're planning to leave, I said. It wasn't a question. She wiped at her cheek. We were talking about it. Don't twist this, she snapped suddenly, anger flaring. You checked out a long time ago. All you care about are numbers and spreadsheets. Miguel actually listens to me. He makes me feel alive. I was suffocating here. Then why not ask for a divorce? I asked. Why not say, I'm unhappy, instead of siphoning off money in the middle of the night? She stared at the table. Because I didn't want a war. I didn't want drama. I just wanted to leave clean. Clean? I repeated, a bitter laugh escaping before I could stop it. You emptied our accounts and maxed out joint cards to leave me with nothing. And your word for that is clean? Silence settled between us, thick and ugly. Finally, she said, I'm sorry you had to find out like this. Not, I'm sorry I did this. Not, I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry you had to find out. Told me everything. I stood slowly. You need to understand something, I said. You didn't just break my heart. You committed crimes. Fraud. Identity theft. Wire fraud, depending on what you told the bank. You think this is just a messy breakup, but it's bigger than that. Her head snapped up. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts, I said. Facts I already shared with some people who care about this kind of thing a lot. Her eyes narrowed in confusion. What are you talking about? I didn't answer. Not yet. 2 days earlier, when I first noticed numbers out of place, I'd done more than pace the kitchen. I'd emailed evidence. I'd spoken to someone who took those numbers extremely seriously. People whose business wasn't broken marriages but broken laws. At the time, I didn't know where it would lead. I wasn't thinking revenge. I was thinking survival, protection, trying to make sure that if she burned down our financial life, I wouldn't be the one holding the match in court. Now, watching her sit there, realizing the gravity of what she'd done, I felt something shift. She thought she'd leave town with a suitcase, a new man, and a stack of my money. She had no idea who would actually be waiting at the door. Lauren stared at me like she was trying to read my mind, trying to figure out where the cracks in my calm voice were hiding. But there weren't any. My anger had cooled into something sharper, steadier, something that didn't shake or tremble. Dan, what did you do? She asked slowly. I protected myself, I said. Her chair scraped the tile as she stood. From me? Yes, I said. From you. She opened her mouth, but before she could form another excuse, a text pinged on her phone. She glanced at the screen, and her face blanched. Miguel, I'm outside. Grab the bags. She clutched the phone like it burned her. I stepped back from the table and nodded toward the door. So it's today. You were really going to walk out. She straightened, something defensive flaring in her expression. I wasn't going to disappear without saying goodbye. Then, a beat later, not exactly. Oh, I asked. Was I supposed to come home to a note on the counter? Dear Dan, don't freak out. But I spent our life savings chasing a man with a goatee and a gym membership? She flinched. You don't know him, and you didn't know him enough, I said quietly, to give him every dollar we had. Another buzz. Miguel, Jerry. We need to move before traffic picks up. Lauren shoved her phone into her purse. I'll handle this later, she muttered. I'll explain everything on the road. No, I said. You won't. She grabbed the 2 suitcases by the staircase, ones I'd somehow missed earlier. They were zip-tight, bulging. Clothes, jewelry boxes, makeup bags. Gone in one trip. Lauren, I said, stepping forward. You need to stop. She didn't even turn. I'm not doing this with you. Not when you're in this mood. This mood, I echoed. You emptied our accounts, maxed our cards, and planned to run away with a man I've never met. But I'm the one being unreasonable. She threw her hands up. You make everything dramatic. I wasn't stealing. I was securing my future. With my bank accounts. With our money, she snapped. And it's not like you ever wanted to take risks. Miguel believes in starting his new life funded by my savings? I cut in. She stiffened. You're twisting it. You always twist things. And then she reached for the front door handle. I stepped closer. Lauren, I repeated. Don't walk out. She turned just enough to meet my eyes. Then say something to make me stay. I studied her, really looked at her. The woman I married. The woman who used to dance barefoot in our kitchen to 90s songs. The woman who used to dream with me about beach vacations and kids with her smile. The woman I thought I knew. There was no apology in her eyes. No regret. Only annoyance. Impatience. She didn't want forgiveness. She wanted freedom. From me, from responsibility, from consequences. And she thought she had it. She pulled the door open. Miguel was standing on the porch. Leather jacket, sunglasses on at night, leaning casually against the doorframe like a man starring in a low-budget music video. He grinned at her. Finally. What took you? Then he saw me. His smile faded. Hey, man, he said awkwardly. Didn't expect. You didn't expect me home. I finished for him. That makes 2 of us. Lauren stepped between us like a shield. Miguel, let's just go. We don't need this. She tried to push past me with her luggage, but I stepped aside. Not blocking her, not touching her, just letting her walk into the fate she'd built. Miguel reached for the last suitcase. And that's when headlights surged through the driveway. 2 black SUVs rolled up, engines low but unmistakably serious. They boxed in Miguel's car so tightly he stumbled backward in shock. Lauren froze. What is this? Miguel backed up toward the porch steps. Dan, what's going on? Before either of them could move again, the SUV doors opened. Men and women in jackets stepped out. Dark outfits, badges visible, voices firm. Federal agents, one of them announced. Nobody move. Lauren dropped her purse. Miguel dropped the suitcase. 2 agents approached the porch. One addressed me calmly. Mr. Hale. That's me, I said. Lauren's head whipped toward me. You knew about this? Yes, I said simply. Miguel Esputérez. FBI? What the hell did I? Mr. Torres, an agent cut in. You are being detained for questioning regarding multiple counts of financial fraud, wire fraud, and interstate theft by deception. Lauren gasped. What? No. There must be some mistake. The agent turned to her. Ma'am, we need you to step back. Miguel protested as agents cuffed him. Lauren, tell them you wired me the money. It wasn't fraud. It was an investment. Lauren's face drained. Miguel, shut up. The lead agent's eyes narrowed. Ma'am, we will need to speak with you as well. She spun toward me, voice cracking. Dan, what did you do? I kept my voice even. 2 days ago, when I saw our accounts being emptied, I reported the activity. I turned over every statement, every transfer, every wire, because I wasn't going to let me take the fall for something he orchestrated. Miguel thrashed as they led him away. Lauren, help me. She stared, trembling. Dan, you ruined everything. No, I said quietly. You did. The agents escorted Miguel into the SUV. Lauren took a shaky step toward him, then toward me, then back again, caught between the life she tried to steal and the one she threw away. The agent turned to her. Ma'am, you'll need to come with us to answer some questions. Lauren looked at me as if I could stop it, as if she hadn't been ready to vanish 3 minutes earlier. Dan, she whispered, voice breaking. Please help me. I shook my head, not in cruelty, just in truth. You made choices, I said. Now you're seeing where they led. They guided her toward the SUV. She didn't fight. She just walked numbly, her world collapsing in slow motion. I stood on the porch alone, watching the vehicles pull away, the sound of engines fading into the night. The front door hung open behind me. The house was quiet, so quiet it almost echoed. And for the first time since this whole nightmare began, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief, because the truth was out, and the life she tried to destroy was now finally mine to rebuild. The night after the SUVs drove away was the quietest night of my life. No arguments. No excuses. No lies whispered from a glowing phone. Just silence, and the sound of my own breathing finally feeling steady again. I slept on the couch, not because I had to, but because the bed still smelled like her perfume. I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. The next morning, I woke up to 2 things. 1. A voicemail from the lead FBI agent. 2. A text from Lauren's sister. The voicemail was straightforward. Mr. Hale, thank you again for your cooperation. Your wife has been released pending further questioning. Mr. Torres remains in custody. The text was a little less calm. What did Lauren do? Mom is freaking out. I stared at it for a long moment, then typed back. Ask her. I wasn't going to carry this burden alone anymore. Not my job, not my guilt. Around noon, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Lauren standing on the porch, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. No makeup, hair frizzy from the cold, wearing the same clothes the agents had escorted her in the night before. Her eyes were red, swollen. Dan, she whispered. Can we talk? I stepped aside but didn't invite her in with words. She walked in slowly, like she expected the floor to break beneath her. She stood in the living room, wringing her hands. They questioned me for hours. About the transfers. About Miguel's accounts. About whether I knew anything illegal was happening. Did you? I asked. She hesitated too long. Not at first, she admitted. But when the withdrawals got bigger, he made excuses. Said he needed clean funding for a business deal. Said my name wouldn't be tied to anything. Said we'd be set for life. And you believed him, I said. I believed he cared about me, she said softly. That was the part one wanted to believe. I nodded once. What do you want from me, Lauren? Her voice cracked. A chance. A chance to explain. A chance to make things right. A chance to come home. I took a slow breath, weighing the weight of each word. Home, I asked quietly. You were walking out of it less than 24 hours ago. Tears welled in her eyes. I know. I made the worst mistake of my life. No, I said calmly. You made a series of choices that led exactly where they were always going. She covered her mouth, sobbing softly. Dan, I'm begging you, please don't give up on us. I let her cry, let her breathe, let the truth sit with her the way I'd sat with it. Then I told her the thing she didn't expect. I'm not pressing charges. She gasped. You're not. No, I said. You'll have to answer federal questions, but you don't need me pushing you over the edge. I'm stepping out of the way. Not because I want you back, but because I want peace. She stared at me, confused, hopeful, broken. But I continued gently, we're done, Lauren. Her shoulders crumpled. Dan, please. You took our money, I said softly. You tried to take our future, but you don't get to take my recovery too. She wiped her face. What am I supposed to do? You rebuild, I said. On your own, just like I will. She sank onto the couch, the same couch she'd once laughed on, once kissed me on, once planned our future on. Now it held only the weight of what she'd lost. Eventually, she stood. She walked to the door, hand on the knob, head bowed. Dan? She whispered. Yes, I really did love you once. I know, I said, and that version of us deserves to be remembered, not dragged through this. She nodded weakly. Then she left. I closed the door behind her and leaned against it, letting out a long, steady breath. For the first time in months, the house didn't feel like a battlefield. Felt like a beginning, a blank page, a chance to rebuild everything she tried to burn. And as I walked through each quiet room, I realized something important. The best revenge wasn't watching her get arrested. It wasn't watching Miguel get hauled away. It wasn't even watching her plans collapse. No, the best revenge was finally choosing a future where her choices no longer decided my life. I wasn't ruined. I wasn't broken. I was free.